Here's another device that caught my attention. This is a Lenovo Thinkcenter M75q Gen 2. So this thing is actually pretty close to a Steam Deck OLED when it comes to processing power and internals. So let's take a little closer look and see how this thing can actually game. It's nicely equipped with 5 USB ports, 2 display ports, an HDMI, Wi-Fi, Gigabit Ethernet, and a USB-C. So opening this thing up, it's pretty easy. You have one screw on the top. This will reveal basically a 2.5-inch hard drive caddy, and also will show your heatsink. On the bottom, that's where the magic is. That's where your RAM goes and your NVMe drives. This device has a Ryzen 5 Pro 5650GE with Radeon graphics, so that's a 6-core 12-thread. It's paired with 16 gigs of DDR4. Looking at this thing compared to the Steam Deck OLED's APU, it's actually pretty close. It's got similar amount of cache. I know the Steam Deck OLED APU is a little bit newer and runs on a different GPU architecture, but overall this thing should be a pretty good contender. So we're going to whip up a quick boot drive with the SteamOS on a USB with Rufus, boot from that USB, and let's wipe and install SteamOS on this device. Steam has done a pretty nice job with the installer of SteamOS. You can install it on almost anything, and it seems to work just right out of the box. So the installation can take up to about 15 minutes depending on your internet connection and a few other factors. But once it's finished, you can log into your Steam account and you can start downloading some games to your device. I went ahead and paired an Xbox controller, tweaked a few of the settings to run at 1080 as the native resolution, and went ahead and turned on beta updates. So what's really cool about SteamOS is this also has a full-fledged desktop environment. So with 1 or 2 clicks, you have a full Linux desktop on this device. So there's a productivity suite you can download like LibreOffice or OpenOffice. You also have Firefox, so you can access the internet, web browse, and do all that on top of gaming. So headed back to Steam, it only takes 1 click, and it's pretty snappy. So SteamOS basically runs in like a big picture mode. If you've ever tried that on a Windows desktop, actually works out perfectly. It's pretty easy to navigate with a controller and play games with either a controller or a keyboard and mouse. Cuphead ran flawlessly, as you might expect. Any game that is verified on deck will basically play on this device. So sometimes you will need to dump the resolution a little bit from 1080 to 720p or 800p. This is because the Steam Deck doesn't actually run at 1080, which is kind of considered the PC standard nowadays. But surprisingly, with a little bit of tweaking, you can run at 1080 medium to 1080 high at most of the games I tried. So as you can imagine, Half-Life 2 also ran flawlessly, one of my favorites of all time. Switching over to Halo, I really forgot how bad I am at Halo after not playing in so long. Thankfully I was able to get 1 or 2 kills, but I got absolutely obliterated, and sorry team. The campaign also ran flawlessly, but again, where you'd really want to test this is in a multiplayer environment, as that's where lag and processing really kind of goes head to head. Lego Batman is also a good fun time favorite. This, as you can imagine, also ran flawlessly right out of the box with no tweaking. So I'm playing this now with the Xbox controller. Still mind-blowing to me that this is a device that I paid $140 for, and it's absolutely slaying these games. Just to think about, like, just a few years ago, I don't even think it'd be possible to get something for $200 that would actually run and game right out of the box, which for the big part, I would definitely think this is on Steam's end with their optimization of gaming on Linux and their compatibility layers. That's definitely taking the Linux gaming scene and really given that ability of lower powered devices to actually run games. So here we go, we have Black Mesa, which is also a wonderful game itself, very aesthetically pleasing and beautiful, and of course that ran wonderfully right out of the box. So here we have the Great Rebellion. It's a roguelike platformer. I'm not too good at these, but had a great time playing this quite a few years back. So now let's do the couch test. So this is just on a 4K TV. It's just outputting at 1080 though, and sure enough, it's running the games just fine. Another great thing about this is it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, so you can basically play anywhere and download your games anywhere. So continuing on with my testing, I did start to notice some issues with Control Ultimate Edition. So this is at 1080 at the standard out of the box preset, and as you can see, it definitely looks like we're below the 30 FPS range. In my middle school days, I had an HP laptop with a Core 2 Duo with integrated graphics, and yeah, at that time I could be like, yeah, I could get away with 15 FPS, but I've kind of gotten a little spoiled and I would consider this unplayable. Now on to Need for Speed Unbound. This right out of the box at the standard settings at 1080, it's running fine. So it's actually kind of been a while since I played any racing games, and it was kind of nice to get back into it for a little bit. Now we're on to one of my all-time favorite series, the Borderlands. This is Borderlands 2. After loading up this profile and playing for a little bit, I forgot how difficult of a profile this is. With this Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and with how high of a level I am, as you can see, damage does nothing. Your guns do nothing. Everything is basically a bullet sponge, which I'm not really in the mood to just waste away ammo, but for the most part, everything still ran fine. As you can see, still able to, accurately hit headshots, and mechanics of the game felt fine. So with playing all these games, the fan, obviously you could hear it running, but it wasn't really anything too noticeable or too audible, especially if you had your TV or other speaker volume on. It's like it wasn't even there. The device itself wouldn't even really get that hot to the touch. So here we have a little bit of Fallout 3. Again, running flawlessly. Steam has really come a long way with their SteamOS and compatibility for games. So overall, my final thoughts. So for something that's sub $200, I think this is actually a pretty crazy leap in the functionality of SteamOS and how well they have done Linux optimization, but also just a device if you just want something else to plug into a TV, something to give your kid to play games on with a controller. I really recommend picking up one of these ThinkCentre M75q Gen 2s. So these can be found on eBay. You can find them on Amazon, but they're wildly expensive on Amazon. But I actually found mine locally. And so you can get these things with a wild range of configurations and stuff like that. But for a minimum, I would recommend 16 gigs of RAM. I would also recommend the Ryzen 5 with the 5650 GE, as the Radeon graphics did give it a big kick. I do have one with the Intel and the integrated graphics, and it didn't perform near as good as this thing. But yeah, if you got some extra money and want to try to go build a little Steam Deck clone or budget Steam machine, yeah, definitely check one of these little guys out. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great week, and catch you later.